You ever have one of those nights where everything just breaks? Like, the power goes out, the rain's coming down sideways, and all you want is to curl up with a warm blanket and wait it out, but instead you're standing barefoot in your yard like an idiot, soaking wet, pointing a flashlight at the one person who caused all of it, while she's sipping cocoa like she's hosting a holiday special. Yeah, that was me. 2 months ago. And this is the story of how my HOA cut off my power during a storm, not knowing that I own the damn utility company. So let's rewind. It was a Thursday night, early spring, storm rolling and slow but heavy, like thunder with purpose. I just stocked the fridge that morning, $500 of groceries, fancy cheeses, steaks, stuff you don't want to let spoil. The kind of haul you only do once a month when you're feeling both optimistic and stupid. The sky cracked open around 7. I was in the living room, lights on, heater humming, watching the rain roll off the driveway. Then click, everything goes dark. Not a flicker. Not a warning. Just pitch black. At first, I figured, okay, transformer blue. No big deal. I peek outside, and that's when it gets weird. Because my house? Dark. Dead quiet. But my neighbor's house? Lit up like Times Square. And the house across the street? Same. Porch lights, TV's on. Even that stupid inflatable flamingo Jerry keeps in his yard was flapping away in the wind like nothing happened. I'm the only one without power. I check my breaker, fine. I check my solar backup system, it's ready, waiting, but hasn't kicked in because technically the grid's still up. That's when I pull up my utility dashboard on my phone, and boom, power service suspended due to HOA violation. Contact administrator. I just stared at the screen for a few seconds, blinking like maybe I misread it. The HOA? Since when do they have the right to touch my damn electricity? Cue knock at the gate. I head outside, flashlight clenched in my teeth, blanket wrapped around me like a burrito of poor decisions, and taped to my front gate, sealed in a plastic sleeve like some kind of legal art project. Is a bright orange violation slip with one bold line that stopped me cold. Unauthorized generator use. Immediate disconnection per HOA code 12A. Except, I hadn't even used my generator. It hadn't even kicked in. And signed at the bottom? R. Goldwell, HOA president, aka Rachel. Let me tell you about Rachel. Rachel's the kind of person who smiles while correcting your mailbox paint code, brings homemade cookies to HOA meetings that somehow still have store brand labels on them, and once tried to get my landscaper fined for using a blower before 8:01 a.m. She's not just power hungry, she's power delirious. She thinks she's the sheriff of this sleepy little suburb, except the badge is a clipboard and the bullets are petty citations. I storm through the rain and stomp right up to her porch. She's standing there like the storm's some kind of spa treatment, lights blazing behind her, dry, cozy, smug as hell. Rachel, I say, breath fogging. You cut my power? She sips her cocoa like she's on a cruise and says, the HOA did. Your solar system auto-engaged last month without proper review. That violates compliance protocol. Code's pretty clear. I snapped, my solar system wasn't even on tonight. And even if it was, you don't get to pull the plug on someone's house over a damn battery. She shrugs. Maybe we don't. But we did. I stood there for a moment, dripping, staring at her perfectly lit living room while my own home sat in the dark behind me. Something inside me shifted, not anger, not despair, just this calm, cold clarity. Like, all right, that's how you want to play it. I didn't say another word. I turned, walked back through the storm, slipped in through my side door, and headed straight to the back of the house, past the kitchen, through the storage closet, down a hidden hallway that ends at a steel door with a biometric lock. That's where my real home is. My command center. See, what Rachel didn't know, what nobody in this entire HOA knew, is that I'm not just some random homeowner with fancy solar panels. I'm the CEO of the company that runs the regional utility grid. My signature is on every meter in this neighborhood. I sign off on the systems they think they control. The only reason Rachel was even able to cut my power was because some outdated clause from a merger 5 years ago hadn't been properly closed out, my oversight, and the last one I'd allow. So I didn't flip my power back on. Not yet. This wasn't about lights anymore. This was about the principle. About reminding people like Rachel that if you want to play games with the grid, you'd better know who built it. I started digging. Within hours I had her call logs, access records, the manual override she submitted using a 10-year-old admin credential that never should have worked. Rookie mistake. I flagged it. Then I started building a case file, screenshots, timestamps, Security footage of her dropping that orange violation on my gate like she was serving justice. And then I hit gold. Rachel and her cousin? They'd rerouted power to run a crypto farm in the cousin's basement, pulling so much juice they could have powered a food court. Hot tub at the HOA clubhouse? Wired illegally. Several meters? Tampered with. She wasn't just breaking the rules, she was building her own damn grid inside mine. I scheduled an audit. Not dramatic. Not flashy. Just quiet protocol. Then I sent Nolan. Nolan's an old friend. Retired Navy, memory like a steel trap, poker face so unreadable he once convinced an IRS agent that he was illiterate. I sent him to the next HOA meeting with a simple mission: drop the hammer. The meeting looked like any other: folding chairs, cheap coffee, fluorescent lighting that buzzed just enough to annoy. Rachel stood at the front, announcing new storm protocols, basically giving the HOA power to shut off electricity to non-compliant homes at will. Nolan raised a hand. Quick question, he said. Do these rules apply to everyone? Or just the folks Rachel doesn't like? She stiffened. We apply all rules equally. He nodded, then opened a folder and read aloud the exact kilowatt draw of the clubhouse jacuzzi, the unlicensed cable run to Unit 12, and finally, Rachel's own override call to cut power to a house during a storm. Which house? Someone asked. Nolan looked up, smiled. The one that owns the utility company that powers your neighborhood. Silence. Then whispers. Then full-blown outrage. Someone yelled, "You cut his power?" Another, "I lost 3 lasagnas." Rachel tried to argue, claimed she was protecting the community, but it was too late. The vote to remove her passed in 15 minutes. Unanimous. She lost her title, her access, her little kingdom. But it didn't stop there. I hit the HOA with a reclassification, conditional commercial rates, triple billing, backdated penalties, $17,243.89. They tried to protest, but every signature, every tampered meter, every shady cable was filed and timestamped. Then came the audit vans. Yellow jackets with clipboards and scanners. Rachel ran outside in her bathrobe like they were serving an arrest warrant. They found everything. Buried lines, bypassed meters, undocumented connections. She said raccoons did it. Inspector raised an eyebrow. Do raccoons usually install surge protectors? Drone caught that one in 4K. And that's when it went viral. We didn't post it. We didn't have to. Someone on the block sent it to a local meme page. Next thing you know, there's cupcakes downtown with little drones on top. The HOA chat is all gifs and jokes. My favorite? A cardboard sign outside her cousin's house that said, "Step away from the conduit." Rachel tried to spin it, said she was running a security test. Nobody bought it. She fainted when she got the cease and desist from the Department of Energy. Legit stamp, real legal language. It wasn't an arrest, but it felt close enough. At the next board meeting, someone tossed a flashlight at her feet and said, "In case Rachel cuts your power too." That was it. The final unplugging. She moved out a week later. No goodbye. No moving truck. Just a rusted U-Haul creeping down the street at sunrise, taillights flickering like the last breath of her little empire. We called it the Great Unplugging. Kids in the neighborhood even wrote a play about it. I didn't go public. Didn't do interviews. Just sat back, lights still off in my house, sipping coffee, watching my drone feed as Doi, the new president, led a community picnic called Power Fest. There was music, solar lanterns, someone even baked a cake shaped like a breaker switch. And on the side of the newly painted clubhouse door, a plaque. Powered by the people. And below it, in memory of Rachel's outlets. You couldn't write a better ending. But hey, if you think Rachel was right, or if you've ever dealt with a power-hungry HOA tyrant, drop your story in the comments. I'll be reading every one. And remember, never let someone who doesn't understand the system be in charge of the switch. Stay charged, folks.